First ban's going to be Tom Kench away from Papa Chow.
Yeah, you talk about Echo Fox's mid-jungle stepping up at the last part of the season. Kind of the perfect time to do it going up against FlyQuest, who we talk about heavily relying on Shrimp and Keen to be their playmakers in the early game. Some of these other bans coming in. Got the Olaf, the Swain, Zach Bandal, a lot of jungle bans early on. There's a potential mismatch with Skarner if no one bans it, so gonna see what they do. Also, right now, no Xayah Rakan bans.
That's true. Kind of a lot freed up apart from the target there in the jungle. Fly going to ban another mid laner though, taking Ryze away from Damonte, so kind of respecting the power of both Swain and Ryze, and interestingly not wanting to first pick Swain more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, Keen is someone who always has had his kind of weird champion picks and his staple champion picks, but doesn't seem to branch out of those too often. He's mostly become a bit of a Cassio, Azir, Ryze player, and so a lot of those banned out, and with Skarner left up, you gotta think that's where they're gonna look at first, but Shrimp doesn't love the champ. Yeah,
it kind of works out well for Fly if they do want to take Skarner here. Kha'Zix, a target ban away from Shrimp. A perfectly serviceable jungler, but there's a 180. Caitlyn actually the first overall pick in this draft.
Little surprised to see that. I mean, I had been talking to Doublelift, and he said, while Xayah Rakan is very metabolic, and it is actually more difficult to play than most people will appreciate, so while it is up right now, it doesn't feel like it's going to be snatched up right away, and Caitlyn does play well into it.
Certainly does. Caitlyn in general been kind of rising in priority, it feels like. Lost has played a lot in the regular season, but there is Sejuani there for Odd Orange, so going to give up the Skarner and just take the tank.
Yeah, like I said, Shrimp doesn't love the champion. We saw him play Kha'Zix a couple times and hard carried some games, literally kept FlyQuest alive for a portion of them, so understand why that might be scarier, but you know, there you go, grabbing that power pick.
All right, seems like Xayah Rakan is on the table here for Fox. Going to take the Xayah and expect to get Rakan on the other end here, as they Rakan at least basically never sees play without Xayah.
Yeah, I mean, there are some pinch situations you can set up on blue side when going against red, where they have to take Rakan with their last pick, and then they might get pinched at mid lane or 80 carry or something, depending on what else is up. But here, with junglers matching, 80 carries matching, and the Rakan being what Fox is probably going to take, you expect whatever they lock in here to be what gets pinched.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It looks like Support's going to be the pick here. JJ
Never mind.
Going to take Morgana. There's Skarner, and flashing the Nami actually locks it in.
Whoa!
So Rakan just going to get brushed on by.
This is a weird draft thus far. Not super high Skarner priority. Caitlyn over Xayah. Nobody wanting to play Xayah Rakan. And the Morgana was, I think, a bit of a expectation of the Rakan coming in, because Morgana can Black Shield, stop some of the initiation. Nami is one of the best champions to play into Morgana, actually. It's a very strong champion, deals with some of the harass early on. You can break the shield with your W and E and still land the bubble. So a bit of a counter pick there, giving up some of the power of a team comp with Rakan for the laning prowess, which makes sense into Caitlyn Morgana.
Certainly have to agree. They've been pretty aggressive in general in the 2v2 for Lost and Papa Chow. Still phase 2 of bans now underway, with Nah getting taken off the board by FOXA Academy. Camille will be the answer. Alorum has one Camille game this season.
Yeah, I was kind of laughing. Gnar makes some sense. Alorum hasn't played it yet, but on the side of No, he has played it 5 times, so that ban makes sense. But the Camille ban, some of these other carry tops that are coming in are kind of more just like throwaway bans, because both these guys, like we said, primarily tank players.
Yep, I mean, good champion certainly is Cho'Gath, going to join the next set of top lane bans. Certainly a strong tank there on the top side. We'll see a Fly want to take away another one, or if there is a trade on the table. But 3 top lane is being banned in this phase is pretty interesting, and Fly could make it 4 here. Got a lot to think about though, and they will ban Azir, so I think kind of appropriately taking a mid laner away.
Yeah, a little surprising given that it is Keen who will not be getting his hands on the Azir, but Ryze banned out. Cassio seems like the priority here, and if they ban the Azir and they don't take Cassio right away, I expect FlyQuest to grab it for themselves here, and then they actually did manage to knock Damonte's champion pool down a little bit.
Yep, kind of like this though, kind of Damonte saving his counter pick and giving on over to Alorum, denies the pick from No, which kind of lines up with the top lane bans here. Certainly his most played champ on the season.
Yeah, No had a pretty interesting champion pool. He had a total of, 7 Ornn games, like you said. Yep, a lot on there. 5 Gnar games, 4 Maokai, making up the vast majority of his games played thus far.
Yeah, again, just tanks everywhere. As Orianna, actually the pick there for Kane, kind of blocking the Cassio pick.
Yeah, it hasn't been a super hard counter for a while, and this would interest me a lot if they actually lock in the Zoe here. Did receive some buffs on 8 points.
Hey!
Let's go.
Love it. I mean, Damonte was the Zoe.
Yeah,
when the champion was aggressively overpowered.
Yeah, when she was broken, Damonte put on quite the show to be like, yeah, nerf this. Absolutely took over a game and destroyed. The 8.4 patches came in, kind of killed the champion, and then received some buffs to get it back into a playable state. We've seen it in Europe earlier today.
Yep.
Perks played it, I believe, and now Damonte is going to get his hands on it.
Well, certainly, we heard it from Golden Glue, kind of a flashy, more aggressive, mechanical player. Damonte going to look to style all over Keen and his Orianna, but we already talked about the 2v2 between mid and jungle being probably the point to watch here in this matchup. Definitely curious to see what they can get done, because I think looking at both these duos, there's a lot of potential action.
Yeah, I think Skarner having the tempo advantage in terms of early farming on Sejuani means that Skarner with Predator and getting a fast recall and base off can sometimes get Predator boots and go for crazy stuff. We already kind of highlighted Zoe, Xayah Rakan, or excuse me, Xayah Nami. I'm so used to just saying the two together, yeah. That matchup against a Caitlyn Morgana lane can get a little explosive, so there's a lot of stuff that can potentially happen here.
Yeah, we kind of brush over it as well, but it is Sion also there for no. So
yeah, we brushed over it for a reason.
Yeah, not that many tanks got pinched, so I guess. I mean, we talked about it. Top lane's kind of a wash. This matchup feels like kind of a wash. We'll see if anything fancy happens there, but I think teams playing pretty much to expectations with these first drops.
Yep, some pretty standard team comps with a couple small tweaks. The Nami and the Zoe in particular kind of standing out here, and FlyQuest getting a lot of their comfort champions.
Well, certainly fun to see, but only one can win the Academy Finals here. We'll see how the kind of tempo of the game is set out here at game number 1, and don't forget there is a mini game for No on FlyQuest to play. He only needs to win one game to kind of shake the never-beaten Alorum in a competitive game before. He's got 5 chances potentially to do it. Obviously, they'd much prefer to win the series. So as the team spread out onto Summoner's Rift, we'll see how it goes down.
Absolutely. Talking about that matchup a little bit in the top side, No actually has a relatively similar amount of unique champions played. It's 8 to 9, but his distribution of that is pretty different, where he has almost all his games on Ornn, Gnar, and Maokai, with a number of only single-game champions like Alawi, Urgot, and Sion, whereas Alarim, while only having a couple more unique champions, does have 2 or more games on a handful of them. The Shen got 2, the Yorick got 2, started getting some fans out against him. Poppy and seems to have a little bit more depth, but as you can tell, there's so much more focus elsewhere on the draft. It's going to be hard to knock No off one of his tanky champions.
Yeah, and I feel like all the things we set up here, where a lot of mid-jungle attention, plus some consistent, strong role-playing type players kind of sitting in the other 3 roles. That draft has certainly shown us that, but of course, expectations can be changed here. Odd Orange already had a performance to be praised in their semi-final. We'll see who else steps up potentially in this series as junglers are just lining up for their first clears on the left side.
Yeah, and it was Sejuani that he did have a lot of those monster performances on, so you can kind of see a little bit of a comfort pick that both Shrimp and him share. And, you know, if you're on stage, it's a big event, you want to get your most comfortable champion here, and one that he's already performed on stage with.
Especially thinking the first game, making sure to kind of settle things and start it off nice and slow. Looks like... Actually, no one moving there. Odd Orange onto his Raptors. Now we'll see where Shrimp goes. It looks like he's just full clearing his left side as Alorum does join in the lane after helping Odd Orange on his red.
Yeah, both junglers kind of clearing down to the bot lane. We're highlighting this as one of the potentially more volatile lanes in the game. There are pretty stable lanes all around, but if the Morgana and Caitlyn want to play really aggressive, the Nami can sustain some of it, but you will take very aggressive trades to actually fight back. So if they want to go toe-to-toe with them, there will be a lot of action. They'll be pushed up. A jungler can gank a pushed up lane, and then the other team wants to counter gank as well. So there might be a fair amount of focus down there.
Yep, early on seems like the push, as expected, going in favor of Caitlyn. Shrimp ducking out as Ari is going to move here to try and get a ward down. Not quite over the wall.
Was that on purpose, though?
Maybe. I mean...
No, I don't
quite get enough vision, so they probably... Okay, now they're going to know where Odd Orange is. He is going to path over that ward. Odd Orange gets a ward of his own on the other side, but yeah, that one chalk up to an oopsie.
A little bit of an oopsie there, but not too bad either way. They probably know that Odd Orange is down on that side anyways. They got another ward on his other ramp down into the river, as well as that Scuttle Crab, so plenty of knowledge on where Odd Orange will be.
Yep, another ward there from Keen. FlyQuest just setting vision up. Odd Orange going to go back kind of early. I guess he has nothing else to clear except Krog. Strip stays out here to go through his Raptors as he's trying to cycle through a few more camps. No with a knock up there. Lorem going to answer back, and tank trades happen. Drowsy there in the mid lane. Going to follow in with a Q to Monte. Good amount of poke there in the mid lane. Is actually a read onto Lost. Another headshot's going to follow. Lost going to have to chug through that potion ASAP.
And that's what we're talking about, this bot lane being a little volatile. There is the potential for Nami to offset some of this aggressive play, but it's hard to match the pushing. You're going to get chunked out and a lot of trading. So might be more action down there. Jungler's kind of passing.
Yeah, just kind of zipping by each other. Speed Train is up for FlyQuest. This Shrimp took down the Scuttle Crab, but Odd Orange back on the map, getting vision. Doesn't see that ward. No, does see that ward, excuse me. Odd Orange trying to do the same and find a ward. Does catch Keen's Trinket, so we'll sweep that out.
Yeah, Odd Orange actually going to clear that ward.
Gets the XP. Hits level 4.
Ayo!
All calculated. As looks like Noah running a little low on mana. Might play a little bit further back as Demonte pops the GLP that he picked up off the ground.
Second one in a row.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he hit Keen with that earlier on. I'm pretty lucky with those item actives.
Well, again, just passing back and around here. Not too much happening in this tank v tank matchup. Not expecting much either, as we continue looking at the bot lane. Despite the pressure, did manage to stay in the lane and haven't fallen behind on CS. So nice there to kind of keep things afloat, but a back being taken by Ari and JJ means that soon enough it will be matched by the Fox duo.
And this is the kind of game that you see out of FlyQuest a lot, where they're very happy to focus on warding and pushing, and then they go for a lot of dragons. They've had great dragon control in playoffs. And if you look at their goal difference at 15, it is -1. So they are basically at 15 minutes equal in a lot of games. They're not a very volatile team. That's why they were able to hold first place for so long in the regular season, and it enables them to focus more on objectives and more on punishing mistakes, which is why that you can say against some of these other top teams like the TLAs and the C9s who were a little bit more volatile, they were able to find victories.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, kind of no surprise to see these two teams squaring off in the finals, as No does eat the wrong end of a trade versus Alorum. Actually, about 10 CS behind so far. So top lane is going well in the isolated 1v1 despite the matchup not being too exciting. Slow is going to take off the passive from Odd Orange. A little attempt there in the 3v3, but it looks like Nami's also roamed. JJ is going to land the binding, but just going to clear this ward. Yeah, everyone's okay.
Everyone's okay, but you see the focus for FlyQuest Academy. A lot more vision thrown down around the bot lane. They want to watch out there to enable their Caitlyn, Morgana lane to just keep pushing freely. And JJ's doing a great job just harassing Odd Orange in his own jungle.
Yeah, lots of pretty far forward wards as well. Actually, a control ward place to start off this jungle invade. He's going to unleash that Gromp, gets impatient. Odd Orange got a little too low, and it's kind of all translating back to the last thing you just talked about, which is that Drake control.
Absolutely. Chunk out the other jungler. You have bot lane priority for the most part. Allows you to do this early on. Also, the fact that Skarner is a great champion for doing early objectives. When he has that Spire under control, he's able to kind of just sustain himself, keep it up. Ocean Dragon also not particularly difficult to take, which is going to be great for their strategy. As hold on, Ari getting a little caught out.
Going to force a flash, but not sure they can check the rest of it. Not in time, at least. Drake will go over. So FlyQuest as Shrimp smites that down.
Like I was just saying, great for how FlyQuest is kind of approaching this game. A lot more focus.
Oh, actually going to get spotted. Stunned over. Shrimp finds the first blood. That pesky ward kills Odd Orange.
That's why you need that vision control. Allows you to find those kind of random kills in a sense. Odd Orange is clearing his jungle relatively low. That's actually not that uncommon for junglers, but because of that great vision control, also had his Predator boots active, could get on top of Odd Orange very quickly.
Great bit of play there from Shrimp, and Odd Orange just... I mean, we know he shouldn't have stayed, but hard judgment to make perhaps. Still, the harassment's totally effective there for FlyQuest. They even push them out, they invade, they get vision, they get the Drake, and they even get a kill out of the deal.
Yeah, usually when you hear that Drake roar and you don't have vision on it, you expect the other team to kind of back off after the Dragon, be happy with their gains, but Shrimp continuing to be aggressive. And you kind of heard them talking about it on the desk. He plays a lot of different playstyles where he goes crazy invade, crazy camp heavy, crazy objective focus, and now that he has the lead, he is hounding Odd Orange.
Yeah, no reason for him to really not play this aggressive. His lanes are pushing in as well right now, so good timing here for Shrimp on the red buff invade. King in a zone off Odd Orange, even takes a couple of the small raptors. Odd Orange will have to contend with just the big one. Shrimp now level 6. Looking to try and get something happening in a lane as well. Lost eats a binding, but no follow-ups there.
A little bit, got the Piltover Peacemaker on him, keeping him pushing under the turret. Not a ton of damage on the turret quite yet, and you saw Ari did not get the optimal back. Ended up with a pickaxe, and here's Odd Orange. Just no idea this is coming in until whoop, over the wall.
Yep, not much you can do there, unfortunately for him. Shrimp using that vision that they earlier got to their advantage, as he's going to now donate the blue buff over to Keen. Haven't checked in the mid lane for a while. Pretty even. Keen currently with a 10 CS lead. See if he can increase or hold that as the lane continues, but both mid laners have backed. Monte and Keen both working after that early Archangel stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, a little interesting to see some of the changes in the build for Zoe. Last time we saw her, it was more of a Morello Nomicon focus, and she kind of got nerfed right when that major rework and a lot of items came in. So now that she's finally viable again on this patch, you see going with that Archangel's build does press Q a lot.
Certainly does. Gets the blue buff also, so going to match those first early buff takes. And I'll imagine mid laners will just continue to farm back and forth here,
as mid lane tends to do.
I mean, there's been a lot of that so far, and the jungle attention really has been kind of at each other, and now bot lane actually for Odd Orange, who has hit level 6.
Yeah, we talked about how the bot lane isn't something that they usually put a lot of resources into, but with this matchup and the fact that it is enabling jungle pressure more so than it is about ganking the lane is pretty interesting to note, because sometimes when you pick a Caitlyn Morgana lane, you chunk people out, you see those invades and rotations focused on diving under the turret and looking for those kills, because despite the fact that Lost and Papa Chow have been poked out pretty low sometimes, the jungler hasn't really looked to use that pressure in the lane and instead going for invades and vision control.
And as you mentioned, they haven't really converted into much tower damage either, so another back there for Ari will leave. Lost and Papa Chow with a CS lead in their 1v1, but now with 280 items, things can maybe start to be pressured and bullied a little bit more there in the 2v2. Otherwise, everyone's just kind of chilling out.
Yeah, usually the first BF sort is when you start seeing those Caitlyn's really put their pressure on, their auto attacks, start doing a lot more damage to those turrets. Start dropping those down and move around the map. And FlyQuest game plan is pretty online right now with 1,000 gold lead at 10 minutes. Not massive, but it's enough where if they're able to break that first turret with that advantage that they've kind of been generating down the bot lane. And this also the fact that Shrimp is now looking for another neutral objective.
Odd Orange probably going to spot him. No, does not sweep the Rift Tower, but instead trying to find the wards alongside mid lane. So Shrimp will be left in the dark to take down this objective.
Gonna have to sniff it out, but doesn't feel like he's going to be able to do so. Still 3,000 on it. And proc the eye, so he's not going to get another eye proc, but he's doing enough damage to take this one.
Yeah, still has Smite ready, so it should be A-OK. Shrimp going to grab yet another neutral objective. And you said it already, at 15, FlyQuest with a total gold difference average of -1. Does not necessarily reflect in their objective control, which has certainly been a focus of their early games. Demonte tries to get a kill here. Exhaust lands, follow up a stun, but the actual paddle star is going to miss for the follow-up. Still a 4-man shockwave from Keen. He's going to disengage the fight. Shrimp might even look for a re-engage.
Yeah, pretty big there that they were able to get JJ out without losing any summoners, which was pretty impressive. Looks like that exhaust that we had seen.
It was free.
It was a free one. I was trying to look like, where did they get that? But actually, no
Off the
summoners
ground
traded.
from a balloon, of course.
Why didn't I know that?
Where else do you get your summoner spells from?
I don't know, the client before you launch into the game.
Yeah, Demonte stealing one off the ground. But not effective enough to combo in for a kill. Still some ultis burnt here and there, but Odd Orange is going to sneak back down here into the bot lane and try again.
And this is really the only path he has available.
Ooh, goes straight in for it. There's Lost with the early ulti, but the Black Shield's nice from JJ. He finally burns that flash to save himself. Now Shrimp on the scene here in the bot lane. Might turn it around.
Might look for it. There was an ultimate used by Lost, so he's a little bit more susceptible than Xayahs tend to be. And like we were just saying, that's really the only option Odd Orange has with how much vision control there's been in his own jungle. So you've seen him go for that lane gank a couple of times there, but critically, JJ was able to hold on to his flash after that kind of skirmish in the river. The fact that Keen was able to disengage that was critical in keeping him alive moments later.
And we haven't seen too much of the mid lane as the farm has been quite even, but looks like Demonte's been feeling the push pressure there. Zoe's wave clear got pretty heavily cut down, so first turret with that Rift Herald that Shrimp got actually going over to FlyQuest, and now the pressure mounts with bot outer turret being quite low. Shrimp looking to make a play over the wall. It has been spotted, ward down now.
They're not quite sure where he is, and there they find him.
Keen also roaming down. The Odd Orange, I think, just spotted him, and they do have a ward as well. So defensive vision is nice here for FOXA Academy, but I don't think that means they can really do anything 4v3 under their turret.
No, I mean, they're doing a good job, you know, not getting dove and getting murdered, but you see the turret's health continues to drop now, sitting at around 10% HP left on it. So that one's going to drop soon thereafter. Top lane, like we said, bit of a non-factor this entire time. The Banner of Command completed, though, so maybe Noah's going to get his own pushing in here now.
Maybe. A plan seems to be there for FlyQuest to push down those turrets and kind of play that slow, objective-focused game they've been so consistent with all season. Lost, you can just see, you said it, the BF Sword would kind of tip the scales in that matchup, seems to have done so with the recent pushing pressure as Alorum contends with the banner. No's just going to smack the turret while he's here.
Yep. The fact that Ornn is almost entirely magic damage makes it so it's pretty hard for him to clear that bannered up minion out, as opposed to Siren, who's got at least his axe to be physical damage.
Smack him around. Looks like maybe a banner out for Alorum, but we'll see what he converts those pieces into. Keen with blue buff number 2 for himself. Damonte over on the other side doing the same. But already, the early 1,000 gold lead is crept up to 2 with FlyQuest securing that Drake and using that Rift Hub to secure the most important outer turret there in mid. So far so good for FlyQuest, and not expecting the game to pick up anytime soon, but like you said, as far as their game plans go, it's a very strong, solid execution so far.
Yep, they're doing a great job, and now Shrimp finally pays his first attention up to the top lane with Keen having broken that mid lane turret.
Pop Predator Alorum is kind of caught out here. He's going to get ulti, can't re-engage. The Shockwave also going to connect for a bit of extra CC. Not quite enough yet, but Keen has the damage. Alorum goes down.
Really well played there by Shrimp, making sure to suppress him during the ultimate so he can't get the redirect on it. Call the Forge God just goes sailing past them. They get the easy kill. Now, no top laner up there means this turret might go down, but good vision control is going to cover the mirror play on the other side of the map.
Nice binding there for JJ for a bit of prediction. Damonte looking for the sleep, finds the stun. Drowsy does follow in afterwards. Almost a one-shot, needed a little bit more, but doesn't quite have the damage for the kill.
Not going to be able to do it. Both Odd Orange and JJ walking away very low there. But you are more than willing to trade a red buff for a top lane turret, so still FlyQuest coming out ahead.
Yep, got the kill, get the turret. Trade on turrets is in the bot side here after bot lane left to help out with that jungle invade. So Austin Papa Chow do stick around and get that turret.
A little surprising to see them be able to burn that one down so quickly, but that's Xayah. When she turns on her W steroid, does do a fair amount of damage.
It's a little risky though, going for this Mountain Drake. FlyQuest are on a back from their bot side, but haven't bought yet if a fight would break out. Still seems like the timing is good for FOXA Academy. And I mean, they know it's not there, but now they know it's dead as Drake number 2 goes over to Fox.
Yeah, and so we'll take another look at this top dive. First, you see Alarim has been kind of ignored this entire game, so it's a little hard to get in the mindset of like, oh, I could actually die here this time. And Shrimp and King blast one over the wall. There's that suppression on the ult, so Alarim can't redirect it. He's going to go down, very easy kill, but no minion wave to work with, so it kind of stalls out before they're able to take that one. And there was a small bit of tempo advantage for FlyQuest after they overstayed, not completely overstayed, but overstayed in air quotes for that Mountain Dragon. But you see them not opting to try and push that wave in and actually equalize the bottom turrets. Not really confident to walk forward without any forward vision that they've kind of been relying on all game long to play aggressive.
Yeah, kind of transferred that power over to the top side, so kind of bot takes the hit as far as vision goes. Look, as expected, wherever Keen and Shrimp go is kind of where the flow of the game is looked for. Bot lane has got their backs in on the Fox side as well, though. Essence Reaver now done as Odd Orange back to the scene of his first crime. Did not get a kill last time, but maybe this time will fare better.
Going for those lane ganks, but this time Shrimp is in position on a ward, so it doesn't look like they really want it, but seeing if Aries going to walk forward.
Well, if it looks like they don't want it, that's when you get them. But it looks like the bait not going to be taken. Oh, actually, never mind. JJ, he's going to Black Shield, needs to wear it off the flash. He's going to dodge that tidal wave. The shield was still up, though. Suppressed, though, here in mid lane. Look at Damonte. Keen looking to combo it back in. First flash, that's the real one for Damonte. Under his turret is safe enough.
Yeah, the fact he was able to flash out while also having his Ghost going. Keen had his and could potentially have followed, but with the extra speed up from the Ghost, did not feel like he could get in range for the pullback on the ultimate. As well as the fact Damonte did have his.
No, ulti's here for unsupport or jungle. Here's a TP in from FlyQuest. TP going to answer. Great bit of Drowsy onto No, going to stop the decimating smash for the support caught out. Papa Chow, he's going to fall down. Odd Orange also caught in the mix, but he flashes out. Ult's not bad from the orb, but now they're going to move in and try and get a kill. Damonte does take out Shrimp. JJ low, but Airy takes down Lost in and amongst the mess. A stun there in onto Alorum, who's too deep. No, he's going to chase him down. And Keen collects the scraps at the end and gets the kill.
A very close fight there, all things considered, for how it started for FlyQuest Academy. Still ends up a 3-for-1 in their favor. Not a ton to be able to grab off of it. Looks like No is just going to head down to the bot lane to get that very weak turret off the map to extend their turret lead to 3-1. But that was a great TP flank by No to kick things off before the Fox re-engage almost turned it around. The fact that they've had deep vision control means that once the map starts opening up, these TPs are going to be great for him. Gets the charge No. They knew it was coming in, it looked like, based off that sleepy bubble, but had already gotten the small knockup up, so Odd Orange and Papa Chow kind of instantly get messed up there. Alarum does do a fair amount of damage to turn back onto Shrimp, but then they haven't really gotten onto Keen or Airy yet. So even though JJ is low and not really contributing too much from the fight, both carries were pretty safe there. And in all that, it did feel like Lost got a little over-aggressive. He saw all the low-health members after Alarim's call the Forge God. Felt like he could go forward, but kind of got popped for it.
Yep, Juicy Blast Cone actually pops him into a Morg binding, and that's how he died after getting trapped. So certainly a little too keen. He's going to fall in that fight. FlyQuest pick up a team fight win, continuing to move that gold advantage forward for themselves, up about 4,000 gold. Now that they've taken down that last outer turret.
And this is where the difficult part of the game comes for them. They have 40 seconds before Baron spawns. They're not so far ahead that I think they want to force Baron too hard, so they're going to hold on and try and find pickoffs most likely.
Yep, got time to kind of let people scale up. Caitlyn on 2 items. King getting stronger with 2 finished on of his own. Actually interesting to see both mid laners keeping close, but also going for the same build. Morello Nomicon, after its changes, hasn't been picked up too much, but looks like that's the second item for both these mid laners.
And No is going to be safe here despite getting stunned up. And the Morello Nomicon is a little interesting on Orianna. She's a champion that from ahead you sometimes saw people back when Leandries gave Magic Pen, they would pick up the Haunting guys with their boots and they can kind of smash people. Keen is pretty far ahead at 2-0 and 2, so I understand why he's going for a more damage-oriented build. Demonte on the flip side just wants to blow people up from long range, so Morello Nomicon does work very well for that now, building out of Oblivion Orb.
Certainly good for the early pen. Demonte with a Ignite that he stashed away, but Bubble's not hitting as Fox. Group just 4 here in mid lane, trying to get some answering on these turrets and start a siege of their own.
They're going to go, but it's going to be hard. Top lane's already pushing back for FlyQuest Academy. You see Airy and JJ up, starting to work on that inner turret, and that engage did not find them anything, so they might lose a turret for that.
Yeah, rub buff Caitlyn pretty good here. In tandem with this Morgana to knock down the turret. Getting low, going to need one more wave, but still the pressure mounts here in mid. Keen continuing to shove those in. Alorum kind of running around for a flank with Demonte, chunked out under the turret by the Dissonance. Lost and Papa Chow do get here in time to save the turret, but Odd Orange, who did come up looking for yet another kill, will not find it. He walked over a trap, and Keen steals the blue buff.
Is it really saving it if you're just prolonging the inevitable?
I mean, not really, and that's kind of the issue here for Fox. It is pressured in every single lane right now in the mid game. When the map starts getting this close, it's just tough to find space to do anything in.
Yeah, absolutely, and the fact that FlyQuest has had great vision control while having this much pressure has made it very difficult for Fox to find these angles. Odd Orange kind of looked mid, tried to go on top side, ended up on a trap, gets spotted out again. No has these Banner waves heading in the bot lane, and all 3 turrets are slowly just having minions thrown into them with the occasional champion auto attacks as well.
Well, again, Fox trying to get the waves pushing in the right direction for them, but Aries like, nope, I'll deal with that one. Shrimp is back on a second Ocean Drake for himself, 3rd total here in the game.
And they did lose the Mountain Dragon, which they would love to have right now with how their strategy is going, with a lot of 1-3-1ing and taking turrets down.
Well, they'll take this if nothing else and keep the Drakes spawning away. And again, just you kind of look at the neutral vision along the river. FlyQuest owns basically all the real estate at this stage. So Shrimp able to walk in and just freely take that dragon down, given all the hard work they've done to get this level of control.
Fox is doing their best to get some back as well right now as they hear that call go down from the dragon, move into the top side, get some vision control around this Baron pick, because you know that's where the next focus is going to be for FlyQuest. But with how well they've been clearing out vision and putting their own down, I can't imagine those wards are going to stick around too long.
Don't think so, but JJ going to start clearing those out. Does find one. Going to look for a couple more, but nothing left to see right now.
Yeah, as jungler left him, you talk about the jungle mid, or excuse me, jungle support ward duties. Usually the 2 of them combo together to clear things out. Shrimp had gone back to base. Now they're going to sync up, and that's when JJ will feel comfortable walking into the river behind that beefier Skarner. This is some good solo queue practice too, everybody. You don't have to go if you're the support player. I'm the vision control guy.
That's true. You don't have to go alone. Demand friends.
Solo queue supports love complaining about how much they do for their team and how underappreciated they are. Sometimes you guys just face check stuff. You know, like, wait for your jungler, call for him even.
Use those assist pings.
Yeah.
They save your life much more often than you would think. And if nothing else, at least you let your team know that you needed some help. It's okay to be vulnerable sometimes, Mark.
Never.
Call the forward god here. He's going to hit Keen, actually. Sleep going to land in, but the cleanse is good there from Keen. Now Orange forced to flash away. Shrimp looking for the sting, but not going to land it. Nose here in the mix. Does have his ulti. Catch finds the suppress on the one with the tidal wave. He's going to re-engage a flank. Lost gets the ulti. Now going to pull back. Defenders asleep. Land. But a great shockwave from Keen finds 3. Papa Chow, he's going to go down. Odd Orange the next to fall. And Demonte is trying to poke where he can. He finds one for the Drowsy with that paddle stars. No angle is good, but it's not enough to kill No regardless. Alorum blocks the ace in the hole, but still Fly come away with 2 clean kills.
2 kills. Skarner is healing up. He's going to grab some Honey Fruit as well as the fact that they have the double Ocean Dragon ticking means he's almost back to full, and combined with the shields available for this team, they're actually going to start off onto Baron. There's no smite to contest. Echo Fox are starting to walk into the river, though, to take a look at this.
Gonna have to poke some people off. Drowsy lands onto Airy. That's a good target for Demonte, but he doesn't see anything else. Tries to get some damage down. No, gonna get low, but Shrimp in the pit there for a little while longer. Secures the Baron. Demonte goes in aggressive with the dash to try and get a kill, but no one-shot to be found. Baron over to FlyQuest.
Huge victory for them after a very dicey fight in the mid lane, but they did get the objective. They're gonna get their resets off, and they're going to be able to take this game back. Whoa!
Demonte with the snipe finds JJ for the one-shot. I guess it was 2 combined with a passive. Flash from Alorum's going to dodge Keen's next shockwave, but not bad there. Unfortunately for them, they don't get the turret, so only 1 pick-off is their reward.
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to punish what they expected to be recalls coming in from FlyQuest. FlyQuest gets greedy and says, you know what, we're going to stop you from taking our turret down. JJ ends up getting taken down for it. Here's that mid lane fight, and I was surprised at how slow the re-engage came from FlyQuest. I thought for sure No was going to pull the trigger here, but Caitlyn's not really in range yet. She's still making her way up the river, so it's a good decision to wait a second. They find an angle, but he gets rooted right as he goes in, so Shrimp doesn't actually pull Lost anywhere, and it looks pretty bad as he's overextended, but the Orianna Shockwave combo with that ult that No held pulled everyone in the front line back in together, so they lose pretty much everyone but Alarum as a frontliner. So despite the fact that, you know, everyone's low on the side of FlyQuest, it's hard for them to walk forward. And then JJ, talk about waiting for supports to be the frontliner there. That time he thought he was a little safer than he was.
Yep, a little too much face checking there. Does pay with it with his life, but still the damage coming out of this. Caitlyn with 3 items now finished. Bannered up Baron minion, also going to contribute a ton to this siege. As FlyQuest will take down turret number 4, now knocking down the tier 2s.
Do you know how many shots it takes now for the...
I do not know.
Jad always was proud to announce it, like, it's 8 guys, everyone it's 8. I wonder what it is now.
Not 8.
Someone count right now. I haven't been looking. Oh, there's been an auto attack thrown in there too.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter anymore.
All right, well, you know, it's helping. That's all that really matters. No going to block there. Try and protect the banner, and it does go down.
The crowd's still, you know, counting anyways. They just love counting.
That's good. That's important. I wish I'd learned that in school. Drowsy there lands, hits a good target, but Shrimp going to stay there and block the follow-up. Demonte decides not to pull the trigger as a result, but the banner minion still doing its work. More than enough to take down that inhib on one little push.
Really hard for Echo Fox to find an engage to walk forward onto that banner minion, so kind of just have to sit and watch their base crumble.
Never a good feeling as FlyQuest continue to leap ahead in gold. Now 8,500 gold ahead with more to come. Still a minute on the Baron buff left.
And so much control in FlyQuest comp. A great frontliner in Sion. Shields to back him up with Orianna and punish an over-engage where you can find some people walking over your ball. And then Caitlyn, that's super long range, so you're only going to get to her if you go for one of those big engages.
Yeah, despite the lane kind of playing out well for the Fox duo lane, I feel like composition has been really strong. And just in general, the Caitlyn play from area has been very solid and just kind of led FlyQuest to all his control. Soon enough, Super Minions will be in the mid lane. Shrimp again, threatening with the Skarner Sting. Gets Drowsy, but a bit of poke there into Demonte. Here's all the Fort God. Tidal Wave's going to combo back in. Not bad. They get damage down, but they need a little bit more. Not enough damage as Odd Orange falls there to No. Demonte tries to flash in, does kill No, and gets Shrimp Drowsy, but again, still getting chased down here. Lost, forced to pull the feathers back. Does have his ulti. Fox might look for more, but FlyQuest just want the inhibitor. They will get it. So despite the pickoff, not really enough.
Yeah, Airy got rooted up there for a second, and I thought maybe Demonte would keep looking for people, but he actually broke away up to the top side to deal with that big minion wave coming in. I thought Echo Fox, after No was taken out, that they would try and play a little bit more aggressive and have Damonte finding pickoffs, but they instead go to clear out that top wave, and FlyQuest are going to be able to grab this Infernal.
Yeah, total map controls just look too good for FlyQuest Academy. 5K plus out of that Baron power play, pushing them to, over 10,000 gold ahead. At under 30 minutes in, this will be a quick one for FlyQuest if they can just kind of take those last few steps and close this out.
It kind of shows how clean FlyQuest is in their execution of the game. Here, they finally break the turret. They decide they need to go, so Echo Fox is going to pull that trigger. And JJ does get chunked out pretty well there. Almost goes down, but it's just hard for them to get in range. They pull Auto Orange in and instantly kill him. Noah was frontlining this the whole time, so he drops. And then after he's dead, I thought Damonte would continue to look for kind of fights off on the top side. Noah chases them off, but instead, Damonte just keeps following that path all the way up to the top side, which allows FlyQuest to grab that inhibitor for free. And now there's only one left for Echo Fox to try and defend.
Yep, meaning we've killed the tier 2 actually, which is, like you mentioned, while Damonte had to roam up there, or at least felt like he did. So Fox, again, just thanks to FlyQuest's good map play, can kind of get the minimum despite starting a decent fight to defend that inhib.
Yeah, it's one of those things where do you really think you're going to get another good look? Was that the last good look Echo Fox got? And maybe they kind of let that opportunity slip around them, because if they killed one or two more, maybe they could have got the Infernal. But here they are now trying to defend another seed.
Yep, going to look for one more here. Another good double knock him in the bot side. Drowsy onto Ares, stung it to land on the shrimp, but he QSS it off, and now going to look for a pick of his own. Again, just despite the CC landing on the right targets, it's really hard for the carries to get in and do the final bits of damage.
Yeah, even if you do sleep area, it gives them enough time to back up, and then one of Shrimp or No with an Orianna shield on them are able to walk forward and avoid it. JJ getting chunked out again, though.
One of those things about Zoe went behind, tapping No for a bit of poke, but not really much at all. Flash Sting now into Orange, who's just getting destroyed this game. Ari on a killing spree takes him down. Last inhib's about to go down. Shockwave finds two, demolishes Lost in the ulti. And that might be all she wrote. FlyQuest cleaning up a near perfect game as they rip through Echo Fox Academy in game number 1.
And it is a dominating fashion as well. Auto Orange was so critical in Echo Fox's semi-final victory here, kind of getting picked apart by Shrimp with those invades early on, finding the kill, kept vision control.
They've kept it clean all spring long, and they'll continue to do so here. Undefeated in playoffs so far, 4-0, looking to sweep the rest of the series. And hey, No crack to smile. He finally beat Alorum in a competitive game.
Here we go, saving the best time to do it here in the finals of Academy League. That would be a pretty sweet way to get his revenge if he's able to complete it.
It only took an Academy Finals and 2 former LCS players to get things done. But, I mean, the whole team played a great game. Now, I think Shrimp certainly led the charge to get them there, but you said it. Just the consistency and macro that FlyQuest play with is kind of unparalleled at this level.
Yeah, in the Academy, there's no team cleaner than FlyQuest, and you saw it there. They had a great game plan, pushing bot lane. They clear down there with Skarner having a faster clear speed, get a lot of vision control so that their bot lane can keep playing aggressive and pushing in. That then combos into Drake control, which we talk about how much they love, and they just have so much that they do so well there.
Yep, came into Rift Herald as well, kind of knocking down that first turret, and from there, it was just a really well-played snowball game, despite, a very tame first 15 minutes, which at this rate is just a FlyQuest special.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can keep going. I mean, you saw Keen getting the better of Damonte there, kind of taking the turret with the help of Rift Herald.
Well, instead of us, let's hear it from other people now. As for more on that FlyQuest victory, we'll send it over to Riv and the analysts.
It's not Dash.
No, it's not Dash, okay? Thank you very much, Pastry, and Pastry only. We are back on the analyst desk that is mine now, and I am hosting it. Let's move on. Aiden and Golden Glue. We had a pretty interesting game started off. A lot of FlyQuest favor right from the get-go, but picks and bans kind of threw us for a loop right on the start.
Yeah, the bans from FlyQuest where they banned away the Swain and the Rise on blue side was a little interesting. It kind of just says, like, maybe they just don't play the Swain.
Right.
They didn't want to trade the Caitlyn first pick over for a Rise, because it seems like the Caitlyn priority was mostly for just, Aries said he respects Lost, thinks he's the best, just have a winning lane.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I know a lot of people have been liking the Caitlyn Morgana lane matchup into Zyra Khan. And they basically said, hey, we're going to give you Zyra Khan, we're going to take Caitlyn, Morgana, we're going to do our thing. And then Echo Fox
gave Nami.
Yeah, they did the little twist. They took Nami third, which it's a range support. It gets dove under tower easily if you're losing.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I mean, it just,
Yeah.
Maybe supports should just be picking Braum and Tom each game. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Yeah, but you know they're supposed to win lane with Nami, and if you don't win lane with that counter pick, you saw like Kate Morgana, they just siege you up, they throw roots out. There's not much you can do if you're not winning lane.
Yeah, she's practically fish food in these team fights. Like she just gets blown up. She's not going to buy like any type of defensive item really.
Right.
And she just all she can really contribute is she buffs the AD carry, and you hope that you're ahead enough that the AD carry is just 1v9ing or taking over the game. But then I think like kind of the X factor here in this game was just Shrimp. I think Shrimp really just hard out jungled Odd Orange off of the fact that his bottom lane had this matchup that they were winning.
Absolutely. We can start off right there. Great lead in to the first replay. We have Shrimp actually trying to get into that with Odd Orange on the invade and really starting to kind of set the pace of the game and what is going to continue to happen.
And this blows my mind because they see these wards come down, right? Like FlyQuest Academy, I pushed them out. He knows that ward's there. He saw that ward come down, and he goes back to his Gromp with low HP. He saw the dragon call out there from the Ocean Drake dying.
I'm okay.
Yeah, he knows that stuff's there. And then he just gets killed. Like, Odd Orange should not be there. That's a very high variance play. You just have to kind of cut your losses and sacrifice your jungle at that point because you have a losing side of the map there. Loses Ocean, dies, and I don't know. What do you think when that happens to your jungler?
Yeah, I mean, if I was on EpicSkillshot, that's right after enemy takes the Ocean Dragon from early game. I'm already like, oh man, like they got an Ocean Dragon. Like my lane's gonna be hard. Like they have constant potions basically going, and then your jungler gets solo killed. On top of that, it's just like,
Seems like a little bit of miscommunication to start things
next.
off.
Yeah, go next.
GG, go next.
Go next. A lot of games next to the.
But I
Okay,
do want to talk about like what they did after that really quickly because I saw that and I was like, okay, they got the flash bottom lane. He's level 5 Sejuani. Okay, that's fine. Reset, go top lane, get your red buff and your Raptors and get level 6, and then go bottom lane and path there and just throw a Sejuani ultimate at the flashless Caitlyn, right? They actually have Keen and Shrimp invade the top side, take the red and like all the Raptors, so they know exactly what he wants to do next, and they just stop it and delay it, and then it just becomes this big thing where your middle part of the map, your core with Keen and Shrimp, is just so far ahead they can just go anywhere, and we saw them dive after that.
And that's the thing. We talked about them in the beginning. When these guys get a step ahead, the game just kind of catapults for FlyQuest. We had to 16 minutes in where FlyQuest get a 3-for-1 near Dragon, just kind of being a bigger catalyst to them getting ahead.
Yeah, really good flank TP by the Scion. He gets right behind them, right in between the carries. And they kind of just, you know, they're stronger. And Zoe, when he's behind, like, you're not being able to push into their jungle, get picks. You can see it just does not do that much in fights like this, where they're decided by, you know, a Scion engage or Orianna ult. So
yeah, we didn't really talk too much about the Zoe from the champion select because it didn't actually impact the game a lot. We saw like good Orianna shockwaves, and then Keen was ahead. And then the Zoe, even though when I looked down, his scoreline was fine, he wasn't really like the reason that they lost
we saw some kills there. He definitely got in. It was support kills.
Yeah, but it was
they were
like
going down.
We didn't really see the Zoe have much impact in this game at all. But a little bit of that is just the bans from FlyQuest with the Azir, the Swain, the Rise, the Orianna pickup to block a Cassiopeia. So the Zoe came through, and I think it's an okay matchup. Like you were saying, it's kind of Orianna favored.
yeah, you know, it's a slightly lane favored for Orianna. You know, if you're really insane on Zoe, you land all your skill shots, and you saw early game, he got a couple like Hextech GLPs in lane. He was actually doing pretty well in lane. You know, there's some RNG variance to it, but you know, when they got that dragon and your jungler got behind, you're not gonna be able to contest 2v2 anymore. If you can't contest Vision 2v2 with a Zoe, there's not much you can really do. You just wait for them to, you know, you can't roam, you can't make plays. You wait for them to siege onto you, you look for picks when you can, but they're just too tanky.
Should there have been kind of, after we saw Odd Orange go down, should they have kind of focused on saying, hey, let's get Demonte going on Zoe since we can actually maybe make plays out of the lane?
You definitely want to try to do something out of the Zoe Sedge, because usually you should be able to maybe like one-shot the Skarner, and start with the Sedge ult, Zoe sleep. You can maybe one-shot him, but they never gave him the chance. They never had the vision to be able to pull off a play like that. And after that first play, they did really well to track him. Like, they tracked him at his red, they tracked him at Raptors. He wasn't even 6. He had to like go back bot side to get 6. It was not a good time.
Yeah, it was really bad. And yeah, in my opinion, that was pretty much the story of the game, was that Demonte was doing fine. Odd Orange got behind, but then the bottom lane picks for FlyQuest just seemed to be a better combo, like the Kate Morg. Having that pressure and allowing Shrimp to invade was kind of, I think, a lot of the story of the game there. So I think next game in draft, you really do have to look at that Caitlyn and the combinations and try to secure a stronger bot lane for Lost. And Papa Chow so that they can actually contest that bottom lane.
Well, let's see. This game won pretty quick around mid with that Baron. They get the Baron. We saw him push down every lane. It got to banners, but it didn't have to be very long.
Yep.
FlyQuest were able to take the win, and they have started this series strong. Stick around after the break to see if FOXA Academy strike back in Game 2. You're watching the NA Academy League Finals.